Step up in the waffle. Well, it's kind of weird, isn't it? No, afternoon, everyone. It's weird to start the meeting with Anna and Bob are also appearing online. So, looking to standing orders 14.1, we'll need to elect a chair for today.
Cheryl.
I'll second that.
Oh, yeah.
Happy. That's Cheryl. Cheryl is the chair today.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome to that.
I know, it's scary.
Oh, it's so fun. Is it about the year? Okay, so we might as well just get started. We'll begin with the apologies. So we have one apology for lateness, and that's Neil Gillespie. Everybody else is on Teams. So do I have a mover and a seconder, please?
Yep.
Wally, and
I'll second. We just
Yeah.
all those in favour?
Aye.
Carried. So we have some guests with us today. We've got two different guests and for a public forum. And can I remind you that we have a limit of 5 minutes. Wayne is going to be the timekeeper today. And if you hear, there'll be a bell after 5 minutes. And if you haven't finished by then, if you could just get to the point, wind it up. Okay, that would be great. Thank you. So we've got to start off with Damien Spring from Santana Minerals. Thank you. Welcome, Damien. Just anyway down here, if like.
Afternoon.
Afternoon.
I'm starting.
Yeah, you can just, whenever you feel free, go for it.
Thanks for the opportunity to speak to the community board. So my name's Damien Spring, CEO of Santana Minerals. So I left as labourer and our engagement manager. Of course, we talked about the Bendigo Open Gold project. So really it's an opportunity to introduce ourselves to the community board, and I've met a number of you around the table already at various other forums within the Central Otago District Council. It's really, I believe there's going to be a few questions afterwards. So
Yeah,
I think
if people want to, they'll ask you.
Yeah.
We've got them on Teams as well, so
okay.
I'll let you know.
I haven't brought any material. I think we've been pretty active in putting out there what we're about, particularly to the ASX. But we're at a point now where we're rapidly advancing our pre-feasibility study, and this is for our gold project up in the Bendigo Ophir region on the Thompson Gorge Road, specifically around the Rise and Shine. So our scoping study coming out in April this year. Just to remind you, everyone's 110,000 ounces a year for 10 years, generating about $4.4 billion New Zealand in export earnings, about 250 odd jobs, and in terms of value to New Zealand economy alone, about 60% of gross profits generated from that project at those prices will remain in New Zealand. And that's through 40% ownership that are New Zealanders already of our company. Taxes is a fair portion of it, and the portion of royalties, which I know has come up in the media for the last few weeks. That doesn't account for the 250 odd jobs we'll have going for 10 years, predominantly living within the triangle of Wanaka, Alexandra and Queenstown, of course Cromwell in the centre of all that, and as well as services and goods that we'll spend in the local area as well. I guess the point about royalties, this was a notion brought to my attention earlier this year about what would happen if the government was to review what royalties are generated and how a portion of those royalties could be returned to the community. Until the government start talking about it, I was fairly reserved on that matter. But I think if the government see a pathway forward and it becomes an effective model that does return those portion of those royalties to the region from which those royalties were generated, then I think that's can only be a good thing. So I look forward to that. Other than that, our PFS is due out in the December quarter, so the next 3 months. But we are focused on our baseline studies to understand the environment that is up there, combine the two, understand what the effects on the environment, how we're going to mitigate it. And because of the fast track approvals bill that's going through government that incorporates the Resource Management Act, we are on track to submit an application if we are admitted to the fast track bill in February next year. Now, the alternative to that is if for whatever reason the fast track approvals bill doesn't get up, we just carry on and apply under the Resource Management Act and the various other acts that the current FAB covers. So we're on track to submit that in February next year, and we'll see what happens in terms of legislation. I guess this is just an opportunity to acknowledge that the Cromwell is the town that probably most benefit from the project, and we are consulting extensively throughout the district, including Terrace, who members of the Terrace community have educated us where they sit, and they suffered from a thing called edge effects, because they're on the edge of the Cromwell Community Board, they're on the edge of the electorate, they're on the edge of QLDC. And so I guess coming here today to at least talk to the elected community board is a start to be right across anyone else who may be benefit or otherwise affected by our project. I think there's anything more to add on the students. Sorry. Oh, drop-in sessions. Yes, we've just launched that. Becky's just launched today about the ongoing community consultation, and they will have a series of drop-in sessions both at our office here in Cromwell and also at Terrace over the coming weeks. So is that all the last 5 minutes? I'll finish on that note then. So it'll be an evening session here in Cromwell, an evening session in Terrace, week about, every week in Cromwell, and the opposite week to when we have it in Terrace in the evening will be during the day. So
every week in Terrace.
Yeah, just a different time. So we've got that ad going out in the local media this week. So we'll have a couple of people there to just talk to anyone who's interested in learning a bit more about the project.
So just for people here in this room, when does that start?
What, next week, Monday?
Monday?
Yeah.
Monday next week. Right, thank you. So have we got any questions?
Yep. Are you doing anything proactive for housing here? Is there going to be on-site workers accommodation, or is it going to be off-site? What's your thoughts there?
So the aim of this project is to be residential. So there'll be no long-term on-site accommodation, but we recognise bringing in 100 people into the area will create immediate pressure on housing, even if it's just for the short term. And I'm talking about the construction crews that come in with specialised skills if they're not already here. So we are looking at that option as an on-site camp, maybe 80 rooms. But also looking to make sure that we're investigating alternate accommodation that's out there underutilised, and also maybe partnering with someone further down the track with making sure that if we do build something up there, serves our purpose, and maybe have another purpose going forward beyond that.
Anybody else?
It's quite a bit of sensitivity amongst the wine growing fraternity about the use of the word bendigo. How hung up are you on that? Because it is a designated wine growing area, and I can understand the two don't sit naturally hand in hand, one would say, mining and wining.
Yeah.
or wine.
So, I understand they are going through a GI application to put it on the map, literally.
Mm.
We've promoted this project as Bendigo OFA, given it's the two historic gold mining towns that are either end of our permit. We've discussed it extensively internally, as well as ongoing consultation with the likes of Cowler and other wine growers. I think it's too early to really land on a position right now. We just continue that conversation. Certainly the name is an issue, but there's obviously lots of other aspects of our project that they want to understand. We want to understand as well. We're still not doing work and best put forward.
We have a question from Mary.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your presentation. It's really interesting. I was just wondering if you could give me a quick elevator pitch. What are the regional, national benefits that you will see out of this, and say short term, out of this project?
Our scoping study indicated that we'd have about 250 jobs for 10 years, based on half of the resource that we know now. Our PFS will endeavour to extend the life beyond 10 years. But in terms of besides jobs and well-paid jobs, and highly skilled jobs at that, the benefits through those taxes and royalties are at modest gold prices, because we're directed pricing now is about $100 million a year to the central government for every year for 10 years. And so if we can extend that mine life, we can only expect those types of numbers will continue.
Okay, thank you. And you just mentioned 10 years. Are you seeking, will you be seeking consent for 10 years, 10-year duration?
No, mining starts with a lot of preparation work. That may be the order of a couple of years. So that's putting the water controls on the access, your pads and all that. And when you get to the end of the mine life, it does take a number of years to get to start reaching full closure, when you start achieving your rehabilitation criteria, your water quality, is passive treatment, all those sorts of things. So I think at this stage, we'll probably be applying, without preempting my team, of the order of 25 years. Okay.
And so no, Wally just asked about housing, and you said 100 people, but then you said 250 jobs.
Yep.
So how you looking at, say, sorting out housing for 100 people and then leaving the remainder to sort out their own housing?
So that was in the context of the construction teams. Now, these are usually high skilled, short term. They come and do the job and go on to the next job, wherever that might be in the world. So we want to make sure that they can access good quality accommodation at very short notice, with 2 or 3 months for the job they might be prepared to do. The mine itself will be residential, so expect people to come to work, do their job, go home, see their family, and be able to sleep in their own bed.
Yeah, nice. So
as long as they can have a safe means of travelling to and from work, because we will be doing long hours, up to 12 hours, then they should be able to live anywhere, like I said, between Queenstown, Wanaka, and Alexandra.
Okay, so you would or wouldn't, be looking at establishing, say, a temporary workers' accommodation village as part of the consent?
All of the construction teams, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Not
Thank you. Yeah, not for long term, perfect, thank you. And would they be, say, prefab, so you'd remove them after the construction was completed?
Yeah, it depends on the circumstances. So we haven't quite landed.
Thank you. And I just wanted to, you probably already know this, but I just wanted to clarify something that was just alluded to just a little bit earlier. I'm sure you're aware Bendigo isn't designated for vineyards, so it's a, obviously wines grow on there, but it's not a designated site for reference. But I'm sure you know that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sorry, a bit confused.
No, it's not. It wasn't you that mentioned that, but thank you.
So we got any other questions? Great. Thank you very much. It'll be interesting to see what happens next.
Yeah.
Thanks. So we've got Katie Seymour.
It's you. Dedicated to it. It,
Oh, okay.
dedicated to a part. If any of you know me, I'd be here.
Surprised.
Oh, I know, always am. So I'm OG Hopgood and we're working in the not-for-profit sector. We're many hats. But today I'm here to talk about our lovely cemetery. And I've been approached, Katie Siegel's been the driver, to talk about an organisation we'd like to form called Friends of the Cromwell Cemetery. So I'll read you our little statement. So today I'm representing Friends of Cromwell Cemetery, a small group of local residents who are concerned about the deteriorating state of current Cromwell Cemetery. We believe that the cemetery, established in 1888, is not only a site of historical value to the descendants of those who rest there, but also a sacred place for those who have passed recently and in the future. They can be visited and reflected upon in a tranquil and attractive environment. Moreover, it is a valuable resource in considering the early history of Cromwell and helps define our sense of time and place, and as a community who we are now and who we will be in the future. Sadly, the current state of the cemetery does not offer a reflective and tranquil environment or afford it the protection and respect of the sacred place. Rather, it represents as a rabbit-ravaged, windswept, exposed site with many of the older grave sites undermined by burrows. Furthermore, the current development, which has seen the removal of Cerise Orchard to expand the industrial area, has left the cemetery vulnerable and exposed on three sides. Pine trees left standings may roughly define the boundary, but do not offer privacy or shelter. In the current state of having been hacked at, presumably to remove unsafe branches, they are unsightly and need to be removed. According to the COD Cemeteries Bylaw of 2020 Part 3, entitled The Purpose of this Bylaw, Section 3.1a states that it is to set standards and maintain and preserve cemeteries. Section 3.1 defines the purpose is to protect buildings, monuments, lawns, shrubs, plantations and enclosures in a cemetery from destruction or damage. To date, these guidelines have not determined the actions of those entrusted to the care of preservation of the cemetery. Our requests are, we would like to work collaboratively with the council. In addition to the continued laying of pin down, rabbit-proof fencing on three sides of the boundary, including the area designated for a crematorium. Temporary rabbit fencing across the front, pending a decision re a permanent stone wall. Consideration of a raised berm with multi-layered plantings along the boundary, using large piles of soil and mulch taken from the orchard building sites on three sides. Creation of a concept plan for landscaping with a focus on shelter, privacy, and utilising some dry garden plantings. Council to complete groundwork of the plan and some planting, water to be provided to the boundary. Our aim is for the cemetery to honour and respect those passing by being restored to a well-maintained and cared for site. We wish to work alongside the council as trustees, protectors, to secure additional funding and transform our cemetery into a community resource we can all have. And we have created a lovely short video, which I'm hoping will play. as somebody who has relatives in Littany and here, I'm not happy, but I'm a doer, not a widget, the same as Katie and Cheryl. But it would be nice to see some landscaping. In 2010, there was money set aside for rabbit-proof fencing, and it was never done. The budget for the local cemetery is $21,000 a year, and so far in this financial year, $323 has been spent on the cemetery. But it would be nice to work together as a team. You know, we would need help from the community board or council to pay for landscape architecture design. So then we could approach businesses, local community groups, get a bit of a volunteer army to go forward, because we know there's no money around and things. But any questions?
Are there any good? Is this very sorry looking video, isn't it? I mean,
The last bit really annoys me, which was the unknown gold miners grave. I mean, I work my butt off of this town. I don't earn a lot of money. I do a lot of volunteer hours. That project, I was a part of that with the Otago Goldfields Heritage Trust, and that went viral. That was on morning news, it was on TV news, it was in the Herald, it was everywhere. We were on radio, we were everywhere. And 2 short years, and that's what somebody does for all my time and effort. It's not looked after. I wasn't the only person involved, but yeah, it stings a bit, and it stings grandma and granddad aren't looked after, and yeah, but yeah.
I'll say good on you for a start. We're all cash strapped and time strapped and everything else, so people that come in and say we want
Yeah.
is awesome. For a start, I don't think you'd even not get the support for that completely. Absolutely needs to look better than that. There's no argument there whatsoever. How we do it, what we do, who knows how that looks, but if you've got a group of people that are prepared to put in the work.
Yeah, we do need to, because starting a not-for-profit and then going out and applying for money, which is my jam, that's not kind of appropriate in this circumstance because it is council land and stuff. But we would, you know, like I do have ideas and people I want to go and ask for plants and labour and things like that. But I really need that landscape architect design to go in, so I can go, look, we need 200 of these plants. Will you donate them? We need so many digger hours. Can you donate this? And you know, that's a few $1,000s. That's probably like $10,000 to $20,000. We're not going to be able to raise that. It's inappropriate for us to probably go to pub charities and things like that and raise it. But it's if that can be the council's contribution and the rabbit-proof fencing, which of course is council's job as the landowners, and ORC would be very impressed with the rabbits. And I know it says in here that, you know, with all the buildings around the outside, the rabbits population will decrease. They're just going to all move into the cemetery and go crazy. So, yeah, but it would be nice if it could be considered and we work together and fix it up and make it a beautiful place, and we get younger people to come forward and become friends of the cemetery and keep it going. And yeah, we would keep
Point taken. So I wonder if there's a way that this could be brought higher up the chain as opposed to just from the community board, if it can come to council at some stage.
It usually comes through us from 25th of September, and we'll see how it goes. At this stage, it's people at the board seats, but that may not be the case in 2 weeks' time. But if that does go that way, it's handy that you've got 2 councillors and the mayor in the room to see that video and hear what he says.
Yes, but we'd like to do it sooner rather than later, because, you know, like I do think about, you know, like if somebody I really loved, I work with a lot of older people in town, and I'm like, you know, going out there, do we say, hey, you know, like all industrial must stop? do we do that? Is that what's going to happen? You know, we're going to, you know, can all industrial noise stop while we have this service? And, you know, no noise from Highlands and stuff, and that's not probably going to happen. So the best we can do is beautify it and sound protect it as much as we possibly, so people at work can keep on working and people who are mourning can mourn. And yeah.
We can access a copy of that video.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it, and we'll send it through.
Yeah.
And councillors be interested in. seeing it.
Yeah. Send out, but it'd be lovely just go out and cross roads and stuff.
So where to from here? But are you forming an organisation? Are you, is this,
No,
how
no,
far
I
through that are you?
think the best option for Friends of the Cemetery is, I'm a bit stretched in my job, but the Otago Lakes Heritage Trust have said they will release me for a little bit of time to work on this, or maybe bring it under that. Or, but Central Otago Heritage Trust, Maggie, I think she would be better to help us get funding. And well, I probably didn't work, put it under Maggie's name, but the best thing would be to get the community buy-in and get everybody to pitch in. And it really is just getting that design concept of the planting and the rabbit proofing. I do expect council to do the rabbit proofing and help pay for the landscape architect design. But then the Friends, we would like to physically do the planting, get the plants, fundraise money to do that side of it. And I think that's a good.
I know you're to be commended for wanting to do this.
It's these two ladies that are here. They were nervous to talk, but I said, do you know these people are awesome? I read them all the time.
I think we as a board, all we need to do is just not put anything in the way of you getting done what you want to get done.
And I like to do things. And more my hats. I'm like, I'm not a lawyer. I'm doing it.
That's obviously there's collaborations like the Otago Goldfields Heritage Trust and the Heritage Trust and all of those things. Obviously, you've got a finger in most of those pies already. So,
Well, the Chinese cemetery bit is really
because that's important that we protect that.
So there are things in the works like there's going to be a Golden Heritage Trail, which is all about the Chinese mining heritage trail. So I know that nobody else can do it, but working with Denise Lang, who's Dening's daughter, and having a trail coming here. And of course we have the Chinese things, and there was plans possibly to do something in Old Cromwell, but there are Chinese remains, buildings and things out there, because in my other time we did archaeological surveying of gold mining sites and things like that. So there's all that sort of thing, and our cemeteries are part of that. And the Chinese heritage and all the early settler heritage, and we've got some connections to previous prime ministers in this town, and their relatives are all out there and stuff. So it's
But again,
Thank you for your time.
no worry.
Right, so we will move on to the confirmation of minutes on page 7. Is there any issues? And that will include the extraordinary meeting that was on the 13th of August as well. So are there any issues that have arisen from that? Yeah, you've got nothing? Okay, do I move her in a second then, please? Sarah.
I'll second that.
All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye. Carried. Okay, so may I remind everybody about their declarations of interest. If there is anything that you feel you have a conflict with, please raise that with us and step aside from that particular item. Now we are on to item number 24.9.2, which is the 2024-25 Community Information Grant applications, the first round. And we have Ali and the whole team. There we go.
I will talk so, I'm going to hand over to Rebecca. Today you're actually going looking at a single application, which is to promotion grants. Rebecca would like to say a few words, particularly about community grants. Oh, that's good. Yeah, you do that.
So this is the first grants round of the financial year, being the 24-25 financial year. For the Cromwell community grants, it's $50,000, and I've just checked it's an even 50. We rounded up that couple of, it used to be just 49 something. But we didn't get any applications, funding applications in this round for community grants. I have had quite a couple of inquiries since. So hopefully in the second round, this board's fascinating in the fluctuations that happen. And you'll recall the last couple, we were pinched for, at times you're pinched for funding, whereas others, there's no applications. And so it's, you don't have regular things that you fund through this mechanism, whereas most of the other boards, in fact, all of the other boards do. And that gives this community more opportunity for coming to you. We did have a funding clinic in August that was held both in Alexandria and here in Cromwell, and there were quite a few activities. It was a full house, quite a few activities spoken about. So we're certainly getting the message out and about, but those projects just aren't at the stage for to come for application. I would just take the opportunity to talk about just a couple of things. Grants, council grants allow and community board grants allow you to support activity in the community and projects in the community and leverage the funding that's provided by this board for a whole lot of other funding. In fact, similar to what you've heard from the cemetery, friends of the cemetery today, is a little bit from the board can leverage a lot. Particular about council and community board funding is that you often can fund things that other funders don't fund. And that's a real benefit for community organisations. And I think, for example, operational funding or funding non-formal groups, like things that aren't quite incorporated societies. Sorry?
Feasibility
studies, that's a great example. And yeah, that's really just my opening comments, but any questions about my no information? Yeah. Sorry, Peter. I was saying all this stuff, and we should put the best.
You so well. So the board has 106,219 in their annual grant pot for 24-25. We had funding round earlier in the year, and there is currently 11,219 remaining. You've got one application sitting before you. It's from an informal membership group. They're looking at, they run radio yacht races on Lake Dunstan. So they're looking for some support for some infrastructure that will enable them to run their events a little bit easier. My recommendation has been to decline through the event infrastructure that Tourism Central Otago looks after. We've been able to support them, and they can loan out the gazebo, which is great. They've booked that. I do feel that purchase of PA system is challenging, and that technology changes so fast. It's almost better for events to be hiring, and I really didn't see that. I couldn't see a strong demand for the investment that would be required for a floating jetty that could be used in multiple ways rather than a very small group of interested people. However, you've got funding. If you felt that there was, if you'd like to support that, there is funding available to do that. We do have an apology, unfortunately, from Jamie, who has lodged the application. Both her and her colleague are out of town and couldn't attend today.
Thank you. So is there any, I mean, I don't know, but how, is there any way that some funding could be put towards them to assist them in hiring some of them?
I asked them to actually look into the cost of hiring and to let me know that. Unfortunately, I didn't get anything back from them on that note. And I don't know what the cost of hiring would be.
Yeah, so with a different add-on, so through the BVX Club, we've hired sound systems for the strike down there, and it's to $2,000 to $3,000 per month for a week.
So what can you buy for 2 then? Sufficient.
Right, thank you. So, any other questions?
How much interaction have you had with these guys? I mean, we talked about it just briefly before, and it doesn't quite sit in the right place. What they're looking for isn't really promotional. It's not, we haven't just got this quite right. It's not necessarily that it's something we don't want to support coming here and growing. But I'd hate for them to be declined. It doesn't quite fit here, and then think that we're not interested in doing anything in the future. It'd be really good to be able to start a conversation with them about what they might be able to better apply for that suits us both, rather than just them as well.
I did have a conversation with them around, you know, what are the promotional activities they could take with regards to the event. Was there any ability for them to showcase it as something that people could come along and watch? I don't think they're quite there yet. I think they're very, you know, they're a passionate group of people that they love what they're doing, and I don't think they see it as something that other people would be necessarily interested in. They're trying to find a way of actually funding the activity. Just then, yeah.
From what I took from reading, though, there is potential for another event to come here as a consequence.
They have just 2 events this year, because I think they've got, from my understanding, is they've got that gazebo for 2 events.
Right.
Beyond that, they could potentially bring other events.
So we could be looking at some support there promotionally or whatever it is to foster that, to grow that, and this be a suitable venue for consideration for their wider network, not just their singular activities that they're doing. That maybe doesn't quite fit, but the bigger stuff, that does fit better, doesn't it?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, carry on.
So I think there's an opportunity for us to work with them around what these could like, how the community board might be support them through funding in future funding rounds. So something coming back in the future, but also how Tourism Centre Otago or the wider team could support them and just making awareness of the event. So definitely an ongoing conversation again.
So I think saying no to a cash amount doesn't mean we're not supporting them. If we can do that, the gazebo is a cash equivalent, isn't it? So that is, we are still, providing some support. And if we can do it promotionally and look in the future and everything else, then I think we can support them in that way, just not necessarily as per the figures on the page. Yeah.
Anything else? No one else got any other questions? Okay, so we now go to the recommendations. I'm hoping, Wayne, you had something. So,
Just put up quickly. Since recommendations as Ellie's given them, we just bump that up a little bit.
So it would be, A would be receives the report and accepts the level of significance. What are you, declines the application 17,000 to Cromwell Radio Yacht Squadron for National Regatta 2024 floating jetty gazebo and sound system.
Do we need to add a third recommendation there to say supports the application by way of the line of the gazebo?
I would have thought that, yeah. And I think that ongoing communication will encourage them to have another go, in the future, to come back if they so feel that it's appropriate. And you'll be able to guide them through that anyway, wouldn't you? So as it stands, do I have a mover then and a seconder for A and B? Is anybody?
I'll move it.
I'll second.
There you go.
Yes.
Mary and Bob, all those in favour?
Right.
Aye.
Carried. Yeah. Okay, so we move now to item number 24.9.3, which is on page 22, road name approval for off Ritchie's Road. And we have Bay.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today we're looking at a request to approve a road name of Ritchie's Road in Cromwell due to subdivision development. The name Fairview was chosen after a block of land, so Fairview, that was purchased by Malcolm Ritchie for his son and family in Ritchie Gully. The name is similar to Fairway Drive in Alexandra. We've due to the geographical distance being so large, it shouldn't cause any issues for emergency services if they were called to Fairview Lane in Cromwell. Therefore, the recommendation is that Fairview Lane be approved.
Thank you. Yeah. Have you got any questions? Does anybody have anything to say? No?
Sounds good to me.
What is it actually? I see a green line on there, but what's on there? What are we developing? It's development, yeah. So land for housing. Yeah. Right. Reasonably large, decent scale. We're looking here. Right. Decent scale. Land sizes. We have no idea. But it will.
We're talking 10 different properties.
It's about this. There's about 6 to 8. Oh,
Yeah.
it's a little bit further than what you can see on the map. It goes up a little bit higher than that. Anything over 6 properties means that they have to name their roads, but the road name.
So there's no other questions? So go to the recommendations. A, receives the report and accepts the level of significance, and B, agrees that the road off Ritchie's Road be named Fairview Lane. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hmm? Yeah, you just said.
Yeah.
Sorry, we'd already.
Okay. Right, and 24.9.3 on, oh no, 24.9.4, which is on page 34, 2025-34 long-term plan timeline. Wait.
Afternoon, everyone. This is just a short paper on a bit of a ringer, actually, to be fair.
You'll do it.
Yeah. It's just to give you an update to this board and all boards, in fact, in this round, so where we're up to with LGP. And we've got the little Billy B / worm page there, is where we're up to, and we've started workshops with council. There's another one coming up on the 30th of this month, and there'll be budget discussions with community boards at their October meetings / November meetings. Because things October for November meetings. But we'd have, well, maybe not me, but maybe Peter could take some questions.
Got any,
If there's any questions from folks.
any questions?
The chairs are invited to the LTP workshops that are broadcast.
Yeah.
Recorded. What's all the presentations are posted up on the elected members website as well. So any member of the public can actually come in or Zoom in and watch it, or any elected member as well.
Nothing else? Yeah. Okay, so do I have a mover and a seconder there? Oh no, actually the recommendation is actually to receive the report. Do I have a mover and a seconder?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anna and
Mary.
Mary?
Yeah.
All those in favour?
Aye.
Carried. So now 24.9.5, which is on page, well, sorry, it's the mayor's report.
Oh, crikey.
Ready? You're
Crikey. Okay, thank you very much. Since I last gave a report, because we had the extra meeting which didn't have a mayor's report, I have done 4 district-isation presentations in Cromwell. Was the one at the church was quite a big one with 100 people or so turning out, and a great turnout by board members and Cromwell councillors, which I was grateful. Quite an exhausting evening, but you know, we'll see what happens on the 25th of September. That's when that paper comes to council. I was invited to and enjoyed a look around the Arbol factory tour. It just never ceases to amaze me. And I virtually never say no to things in this job, and you get to go all sorts of places. And Arbol make prefab houses, essentially. Just in a wee corner of, might have been Chardonnay Place, I can't remember where it was, but in the industrial area, there's houses being built on site, and that was cool to have a look. Attended conference, and while he was there, which was great, at community board conference, we didn't cross paths very much, but that was just the way it worked. That was a great event. I always find, I don't know if you did, Wally, I'm sure we hear in your report, but it's the corridor around the wings that's probably more valuable than the actual time and the meeting itself. And did have a meeting with Indigo wine growers, just as I relayed to Damien some concerns about the mine and what it may mean for that area. And really, in terms of Cromwell based stuff, I've been doing an awful lot of work over a long period of time with a consultant, Mayor Glynn, 3 MPs and a cast of thousands almost, in trying to show central government A, the lack of health services in Inland Otago, and B, the potential there to partner up with what's happening in the private sector locally, so that we don't have a 2-tier health system in 20 years' time or 10 years' time or tomorrow. That's been taking a lot of time up. So yeah, that's been me. Yeah.
Questions? Okay, so the recommendation is that the Cromwell Community Board receives the report. I will move. Someone will second it for me. Sarah? All those in favour?
Aye.
Against?
Aye.
Carried. So,
You get that first.
yeah, I know. So we're on to the Chair's report. Okay. Monday, the 19th of August, I attended the distributisation discussion evening at the Presbyterian Church Hall. As Tim said, this was well supported. Plenty of robust conversation, questions, and a genuine interest into how this will affect the Cromwell board. Wednesday, 21st of October, I attended the ORC Air Quality Talk. Again, this was at the Presbyterian Church Hall. Unfortunately, I was the only person there. So for about an hour and a half, I sat there and talked to them about air quality and other things. And I just wanted to remind them that they are actually, if they're looking or leaning towards banning any multi-fuel fires, that it gets really cold here, and we do have an unreliable electricity source, and it's very expensive. Wednesday, 28th of August was council. We had several speakers at the public forum. Claire Hadley and Harriet Drop from the Manihira catchment group spoke regarding various minimum flow rates of the Manihira River and the possible outcomes for the valley. Denise Graham from Victim Support spoke to her application for grant. David Ritchie spoke from the Central Otago Heritage Trust regarding his grant application. And Fiona Rees from Huddle also spoke in support of her application for a grant. The successful applicants for grants were Sport Otago, Central Otago Heritage Trust, Life Education Trust, Central Otago District's Arts Trust, Volunteer South, which is from Huddle, and the Central Otago Health Inc. It was agreed that there'd be some changes made to the fees and charges of hazardous waste disposal, and there was reports on dog control, additional mobility parking, targets through, and also road stopping legislation. There was an update on the CapEx of the Cromwell Memorial Hall project. I attended the council workshop on Wednesday, the 11th September, covering dog fees, 3 waters, business support, community vision and community experience. I I attended the blessing of the new gluten-free salad door. I know, so it's going to open soon. It was very nice. Cool. It was lovely. And then last night I attended the AGM of the Cromwell Community House. And also all the elected members stayed the same. They all still hold the same position. They're very passionate group of people. Following that was their normal monthly meeting. And then I had to leave early because I was off to that old Cromwell meeting, which I have to say did not finish till 10:30. That was very interesting, lots going on, and can I encourage everybody to attend the fireworks night, which looks to be exciting, fun event, and that's going to be held on the 27th of October. So that's my report, and I will move it. If somebody second that for me, please.
Aye.
Okay, Wiley. All those in favour?
Aye.
Carried. Right. 24.9.7, the members' reports. Let's start with the screen. Anna.
Kia ora, everybody. Sorry I can't be there today. I am in Christchurch to attend the Trans-Tasman Principals Association conference, which starts tomorrow, but my travel day has been today and I'm holed up in the library at the Crown Plaza because I haven't been able to access my room yet. So thank you for taking on the role as chair today, Cheryl. It's very much appreciated. So over the last few weeks, I have run the Dunstan Zone Primary Schools Swim Champs, which is an event that Goldfields School runs every year and includes all of the schools from Central Otago at our swim champs. It's always a great day, always exhausting for me, but it's always wonderful to have all of the year 4 to 8 students from around our district present, along with their parents, teachers and other hangers-on. I also was referee for the Central Otago swim champs, primary school swim champs in Wanaka, which includes the Upper Clutha and Wakatipu zones as well. I attended the town centre workshop that was held at the end of the CODC meeting on the 28th of August. Hosted Otago University medical students that same week in their community contact sessions, which is always a really interesting thing to do because they come up to Central and spend time talking with people in Cromwell about community health, and it's always good to be able to talk about our community and the things that are going really well. So although they come to me as a school principal, it's always an interesting conversation, and they send a really interesting report about their week in Cromwell at the conclusion of their, as they do it for their assignment, and we get a summary report. I'm secretary for the Central Otago Principals Association, and we held an exec meeting in the last month and hosted an event at the out at the moorings, where we hosted the Ministry of Education just as the 2 new curriculum document drafts have been released. So that was a challenging day, I think, for the ministry people in the room, but had some really good questions and conversation from the principals in the room. I attended Wool On, which is of course a wonderful Central Otago event, and I was really honoured to open the evening event with karakia and waiata. It was a fabulous event, very well organised, very well attended, very well choreographed, just ran smoothly, and is obviously something that is to be supported so that it continues. And I wasn't able to attend the last Museum Trust meeting as it was cancelled. So that's me.
Thank you, Anna. Bob.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, I can't also be there. Hopefully, I'm actually in a position where I will be able to attend the next meeting. But I haven't, because of the circumstances I'm in, I haven't been able to do a great deal at the moment. But I did attend the online town centre workshop on the 28th of August. I was also one of, I think, 16 people who tuned into the districtisation discussion online. Apart from that, I'm afraid I haven't really been able to do very much. So that's the sum total of my report for this month.
Thank you. We'll look forward to seeing you next time.
Yeah.
Mary?
Got blow myself up so I can see myself. There we go. I just sent my members report off to Wayne. There we go. So I attended the Understanding the Government's Fast Track Approval Bill on Thursday, the 12th of September, an Excellence in Diversity and Inclusion seminar on the 29th of August, and a networking breakfast with guest speakers Jane Hillier and Sabine Parry, who spoke on listing styles on Friday, the 30th of September. And yeah, just want to say that they're all really fantastic networking and business initiatives. And it's really good to be able to attend those up. Thanks. Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mary. Sarah?
Rinse and repeat what Cheryl wrote and what Anna wrote largely. Went to all the same things, followed around. Watched Anna do a very good job of running the Hodgson's own swim champs here. She's on fire with that one, with whistle in her mouth. She's in her happy place. But awesome event, watching all these kids come along, some for the first time. Cromwell hosts it well. It's nice to have that here. Went off to Wanaka a few weeks later for the CO champs. Took the team there from Goldfields, and not quite the atmosphere that Cromwell generates. So it's a nice place here to host. It's great. I've been to a couple of AA, in the Automobile Association meetings. Good to differentiate into and paper. And where I sit on their board for Central Lakes, which covers Queenstown Wanaka as well. And interesting to see the things that they're doing that overlap with some of the council's work and some advocacy work up to their national council. A few things that cross over, which has been really cool to see, is Chris Foggin from CRDC. In his role, he's really proactive at getting out there with the ambassador courses with bikes and their safety, and trying to get into schools and lead those programs and get AA have got funding for free bike lights on a safety measure that they're going into schools and distributing where they can. So I've helped them get into the Cromwell schools here as well, just to make some connections. So hopefully Cromwell gets to roll that out. But Alex and Clyde have done so already and got bike ambassadors there. And I think, especially in a town like Cromwell, with the greenways that we've got and the access to the schools and the parks and the town, it's something we should really be helping promote. Chris does a great job in that role. He really does well. He's really enthusiastic. It's a great addition to the AA as well. Other than that, been to a couple of the CRG meetings as well, Cromwell Community Response Group for Cromwell. They're just establishing themselves as a group for if and when the big one hits, and or any other significant events that impacts the town. Really interesting learning curve there as to what's going to happen and how we respond. So that's a really cool group to be part of. And they're looking at holding an open day at some point in the not too distant future to hopefully get a bit of community interest and support on how those roles for a welfare centre that will pop up here could be supported by the community. As well as getting that message out to get ready and get prepared. Really, we are an isolated bunch of islands if anything big happens here, and I don't know that anybody around here really takes that seriously enough. That, you know, it used to be get food for 2 or 3 days and you'll be right. We're now saying 8 to 10 days realistically, and each town, you know, any one bridge goes out, and I won't go into bridges, but we really do need to be better prepared than we are. And I think the initial task of that CRG is to actually get that message out better, to get people on the Otago gets ready, get on the, now know your neighbours, know what you've got, know what you need, get yourself a kit together. So that's their primary focus for now, as well as obviously being there to community should anything happen. But yeah, a couple of those meetings have been really good. Awesome to see that come together. Apart from that, various children things mostly, but busy as usual.
Cool. Thank you. And we leave the best till last. There you go. Oh, Molly. Holidays. So you too, isn't it?
So I attended the Local Government New Zealand Community Board Conference. It's not the same as the Local Government New Zealand Conference. It was really worthwhile. I think it's something that we should budget for and send someone each year to. Assume it is every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Yeah, it's something we should make sure is in the calendar. It's like Tim said, I think the sessions were really good, but you get most out of talking to other people that are in the same sort of positions around the country with all their different experiences. There's a good amount of elected members of surveys or had been surveys by trade, it seems. I did the unusual behaviour. I did the Lake Dunstan Trail Marathon a couple of weeks ago. And there was 160 of us with supporters, and it was really good for old Cromwell. And like it was raining for the prize giving at the end, or like sort of just holding off. So really good if there was a hole there to have prize giving in, for example. So that's the first year of the marathon that's hoping to sell out. Numbers at 500, which is be 3 times bigger field. There was plenty of people on the track stopping to take photos, so collectively the field would have lost a few minutes there. I attended the districtisation public meeting and the online session. Attended two economic development strategy workshops. So I went to the generic Cromwell one and also professional services workshop in Alex. That's, yeah, it would have been good to get more numbers, but also the discussion was actually really good in a smaller setting. So I'm sure Nick's getting plenty of good material for there. Just note that the Lake Dunstan Charitable Trust is looking for new leadership. It's a pretty important role, pretty important organisation in this town. So if anyone knows anyone that would be good in that, then by all means try and talk them into it, because there's some good work being done, and it'll be a shame for it to go astray at all for the baseline that has been set. Attended the council's town centre workshop online. That was probably a month ago, was it? And since the last meeting, I think there's been 2 Cromwell Business Network events. One was at Highlands, hosted by Affinity Group, which is developing Shannon Park. And the other one was at Black Rabbit just last week, I think it was. Mike Casey was the speaker there. As always, did a good presentation on the pros and pros of solar. Should do it.
Okay, thank you. So I will, so the recommendation is that we receive the reports. I'm happy to move it. Somebody else? Sarah?
No, you second it, yeah.
Sarah will second it. All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried. Now 24.9.8 is the governance reports. Then Wayne, are you going to have a wee update?
So it's just the third one down. This is a new item that was put here. It's just a bit like just a bit of a roundup of stuff that's not ongoing right now that are in the status reports, but you're probably interested in. So that's new. This is the first one that it's been to. So after any feedback that anyone has, if it's so that's going to be good or something else, if there's something that's missing, yeah, look for feedback.
So has anybody got any issues with anything, and are they happy with the new additions?
Yeah, I think that's good to get that.
Yeah.
That extra level of detail.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, it's good to keep things a little bit organic, to put things into these meetings rather than saying it doesn't sit under the formal meeting umbrella. It's good to slot in what you can.
So there's
and I agree that it's that having that included in the meeting notes means that we get to see what's going on, even though there isn't a recommendation or a resolution that we need to come to on them, it's good to see them there.
Recorded,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
good addition.
Cool.
Well, we'll continue.
Okay. Thank you. So the recommendation is that we receive the reports. Do I have a mover and a seconder? Perhaps someone from the EPA?
I'll move.
Yep.
Bob and Anna?
Yep.
All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
Passed. Carried, I should say. Right, so now we have the date of the next meeting. Just put this up, guys. So that is the 5th of November. And now we are going to move to page 58, is that right?
Yeah.
And we're going, for reasons given on page 58, we are going to move into the non-public part of the meeting. And yeah, where does it say that? At the bottom?
No, right here.
And we're going to agree, well, I hope everybody agrees that Councillor Nigel McKinley be able to stay after the public meeting is after the public is excluded as a Cromwell ward councillor. Any issues?
No, he's going to come.
Oh, yes, good.
Yeah, so,
Second.
yep, do I have a mover and a seconder for that?
Yep.
Wally?
Yep.
Yeah.
Second.
No, you won't.
All those in favour?
Right.
Aye.
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 Thank you.